Hey, this is Ben, I play guitars for Endseeker and you're watching Over Music. Endseeker was formed back in 2014 by Yuri, the other guitarist, and Kuma, our drummer. They know each other forever. They have played in several bands before, and they always had the dream of making a death metal band together. And at a certain point, they just did it, and they started writing songs, working on material, and asked other people if they would like to join in and participate. So they got Agat, our bass player, and Lenny, our singer, and last but not least, I joined the band as the last member. That was I think around March 2015. We took it off from there, and the rest is history, basically. And the band name, it already existed when I got into the band, and I always thought it was cool because death metal and metal in general deals a lot with topics about life and also death and stuff, and the struggles of life or the fear of death and stuff. So basically we're all heading towards an end. That's happening to all of us. We all gonna die, and somehow we all seek for maybe for a good ending of this. So everybody hopes to get out of this in a good way, and I think this is reflected by the name Endseeker. Well, the writing process for Mount Carcass took us about half a year, I would say. In March 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world, all of our shows for 2020 got cancelled. There was about 30 shows or something, and we were planning to tour throughout the year to promote our last record, The Harvest, properly. But it just was impossible, so all our shows got cancelled. And instead of just sitting around and waiting for this to be over and hoping for getting us on the road again soon, we just started to write new songs and work on a new record, because we just felt the need to be creative and to find an output and a substitute for the cancelled shows, because of course we were super frustrated that we weren't able to go on tour and play live and meet all the fans and meeting new people and having fun, having a good time. So the songwriting process helped us through this pretty well. Yeah, as I said, it took about half a year to write all the songs, and the working process was pretty cool because we were totally focused just on the songwriting. We didn't have any single shows and no tours and whatever which could have interrupted our creative process. So we were totally focused on the songwriting, which was a new experience and which was really cool. Yeah, we were really happy with the outcome, and went into the studio in November. Recorded it, and we were super excited to see what the people out there think about it, if they like it as much as we do, and if they could enjoy it. As on all our previous albums as well, we have pretty diverse topics that we deal with in the lyrics. This time the whole thing got a little bit more political. I guess it's just because of the crazy situation the whole world is in. Of course, the whole corona thing and how people and governments react to this was kind of an influence for the lyrical writing process. Us being directly affected by a lot of stuff, as being a musician, we're not able to go on tour. So there was a lot of tension and frustration within us, and I think we just needed a way to let this out and put it into songs and to to find a creative way to deal with it. But we have also like the other stuff that we had on previous records where we talk about crazy animal stories, like in Moribund, which is about the Atlas moth, a huge butterfly that is born without a mouth, so he's condemned to starve, which is pretty crazy. Or Frantic Redemption, the last or the almost last song on the record, which is about a bear who died from eating like 40 pounds of cocaine or whatever back in the 80s somewhere in the US. It's a weird story that we came across at some point in the tour bus like a couple of years ago, and we thought it's hilarious and we always wanted to make a song about that. Yeah, but we also have the more serious stuff like in Count the Dead or Merciless Tide, but also like the fun part with Unholy Rites, the opening track, which has a classical death metal zombie lyric thing going on, which we try to bring across in the video as well. Our musical influences are pretty diverse because we're 5 individuals and we all listen to different kind of stuff. Of course, we all listen to death metal at a certain point, but even within the death metal genre, we have different favorite bands and stuff. One thing that connects us all is the love for the Swedish death metal, especially from the early 90s. So we're talking about Entomb, Dismember, stuff like that, Grave, At the Gates, Unleash, you name it, you know, just all this good stuff, which also is the reference to our guitar tone, especially like the Entombed and Dismember thing. So we use basically the Boss HM2 pedal or similar pedals to create our signature guitar sound, but we have influences from all over the metal place. You know, we have some Bolt Thrower in it, we have Slayer, Gorefest, Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse. We're influenced by a lot, as probably any musician is, because everything you listen to somehow reflects on your songwriting, and the riffs that you write are just influenced by the stuff that you're listening to at the time. But that's okay. I mean, it's part of the creative process to be inspired by other stuff that you hear and just make something of your own from it. And so that's what we do. And like any other band on the planet, I guess. You see me reflection, listen his eyes, vision undead, looking for flesh. The music video for Unholy Rites was shot on one day. I think it took us 10 hours to film everything, including like setting the whole thing up, you know, and whatever, and tearing it down at the end. So yeah, it was a 10-hour day to shoot the video, and I think it took me another day to edit it, because that's my profession. I'm a professional video producer. And normally I produce all our music videos, of course, just because I'm here and I can do it. And so I also did this one. Obviously I didn't shoot it myself because I'm in the video. A good friend of mine who's also a cameraman, he shot the video for us and I did the editing. And yeah, as I said, it was 10 hours shooting, 1 hour of editing, one day of editing, and then it was done. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool because it was intentionally made to have this trashy B-movie horror film kind of vibe with the zombie cheerleaders and all this stuff, and fingers falling off, you know, arms flying through the air, and wanted it to have a little bit of a funny note, just because we think that it fits the song. The song has a pretty uplifting vibe. It's more like the party death metal track, and it's fun to play, it's fun to hear, and it makes you want to move. And I think the video pretty much supports that. Angry, benighted, eyes wide out, blood incantation, an undead return. The The cover artwork of the album represents pretty much most of the songs that are on the record. So if you listen to all the songs, read the lyrics carefully, and then you look at the cover artwork, you find a lot of references to specific things in the songs that are just built into the artwork. And so it's more like the collage of all the stuff that we're singing about on this record. And I really like the old school style. Reminds me a little bit of old like Gorefest or Napalm Death covers, Carcass maybe even as well. We wanted to step away from the classical hand-drawn black and white skeleton splatter stuff that we had on all the previous records, which is still cool and awesome. But we just felt like this record is a little different, and we didn't want to repeat ourselves over and over again. You know, we just wanted to make a little progress, a little evolution, also visually. And I think it fits the record absolutely perfectly. I love the artwork. A good friend of us came up with the idea and the layout, and we loved it right away. And we say, oh yeah, let's go for it. This is cool, this is different, and we really like that. And it absolutely represents the record for us. Well, I just try to think about any bad experience that we had on a tour or on a concert. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were bad experiences, but to be honest, like for the absolute majority of the shows we played, it was always great. It was always cool. Like the local promoters and crews and whatever were all great, and everybody was taking good care of the bands, you know, providing good catering, and the audience is always great. It's nice to meet all the people, hang out with them. I really cannot think about any specific moment that totally fucked us up. Maybe I'm just romantic because we weren't able to play live for over a year now, and I missed this so much that I forgot about all the bad shit and just like remember the good stuff. But anyway, I enjoy playing live very, very much, and I love being on tour, and I miss this so much that even if there are like very few bad experiences, who gives a shit, you know? All the good stuff that you experience on tour like outweighs it way, way more. Now, the album title Mount Carcass refers, of course, to the title track, which deals with the ascending of Mount Everest in the first place. In the lyrics, we're talking about this crazy industry that has grown around the ascending of Mount Everest. So like the climbers, they have to buy licenses for climbing up there from the local government, and they're pretty expensive. I think it's like 40,000 euros to get on that stupid mountain. So and they sell way too many licenses for the actual climbing conditions. So this means that every year, like, way too many climbers try to get up on the mountain, and the time frame where it's even possible to go up there is very, very short due to the weather conditions. So this leads to a situation where you have like traffic jams of climbers waiting in a queue to go up on the mountain, and those traffic jams sometimes even happen in the death zone of the mountain, where in very high altitude, where it's really dangerous. And like people who have maybe not the best health condition, they collapse or whatever, you know, they get health problems up there in the queue, and there's no way to rescue them. So if you just collapse or if you pass out or whatever, you will most likely freeze to death up on this mountain. And this happened to a lot of people. I think there are more than 200 corpses lying on the mountain, and they will probably be there forever because it's hardly possible to recover any corpses from up there. So all the new climbers who paid a shitload of money to go up there have to step over corpses to reach the mountaintop. And this is so bizarre, this is so crazy, and it also is a perfect metaphor for our modern society, you know, for our capitalistic system and our economy and stuff. It's always just like you go further, go higher, more successful, more profit, whatever, you know, just no matter the costs, and even if you have to step over corpses to get there, you gotta do it. This is how we run the world, and I think it's pretty grotesque. So this is what the whole title is about, and what we think about it. Where the quarantine, it affected us from time to time, because there were certain times where we were not allowed to meet in the rehearsal room all together and work on songs. That were the moments where we had to work from home, like we record demos on our computers, sending files back and forth, try to be creative even on a distance. But we were lucky enough that in our area COVID never was too bad, so after short periods of time we were always allowed to get back together into the rehearsal room. We always checked with the authorities if we are allowed to rehearse and stuff, and when it came to the studio recordings, we also checked if we were allowed to go into the studio and work. And we were, of course, we couldn't be there all together. It was like step by step. So Kumar was playing his drums first, and then the guitars came in, and all this stuff. So we weren't there all together. But it worked out, and we could live up to our time schedule. Everything worked out perfectly. We didn't have any delays, and that's the most important part, that we were able to pull this off and get the record done. Thank you very much for having us. Thanks for the interview. It was good fun. Thanks for everybody who watched this. Thanks for your support. Leave us a like. Check our store if you want to support us. Order our record or a ticket for the show, whatever. Grab a t-shirt. Everything is really, really appreciated. Thanks for supporting the scene. Don't forget your local scene. Always support them. It's really important. Support the clubs. And we hope to see you all someday out there on the road. Have a cold beer together and have a good time. Thank you. Bye-bye.